Okay, fast forwarding, changing the subject just a little bit. Now, I understand that you are a debatable human being.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you and I will get into debates.
Sure.
Sometimes they will be heated debates.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And then you would come here
Uh-huh.
at the radio station and talk about it. Why do you do that?
Why do I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do I do that? That's a good question. But I think the way to answer that is that things that we may have in interpersonal conversation. I think that God has given me the gift of a platform through mass media to get words out, messages out, and what have you. So what may benefit individuals in interpersonal relationships also I think we can expand for it outwardly and then maybe help somebody else along the way who may be dealing with situations or just putting an ideal in their head and maybe give them something to think about.
So, this platform of radio,
Mm-hmm.
and you said that God has given you this platform to send out messages. So, then is radio still the most, in your opinion, the most effective way of getting the word out
Oh well, certainly. If you want to
to
buy advertising, you certainly contact me too. I'd love to get you on the radio. But yes, radio. Pastor once told me a long time ago. He said, "Brian, said, how many people do you see carrying TVs on their back or on their person?" He said, "But you do see people carrying Walkmans. Of course, this was back in the day. But now,
let me ask that question because I was going to say spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. I didn't say that part. I wanted to get Jesus in there. Okay. So then you said that God had given you said that God had given you a platform for radio to spread the word. Now, would you say that radio is still in your opinion,
mhm.
radio is still the most effective way to spread the good news of Jesus Christ?
Sure, I think it is one of the most effective ways, but I think media in itself is effective in whatever terms it is. Today's marketplace, Twitter, Facebook, social cam, all those good things are great too. But radio has a way of penetrating to a person in which it's Twitter. You got to be reading it to hear it or to see about it. And you got to have the ability to read. Facebook. You got to have some other factors into it. But hopefully, most people are able to hear it, and so it may not be their radio that's turned to a gospel radio station, but they may just overhear something that's going on. So yes, radio is something that can happen intentionally. And get the message out. So it's a great platform for people, for pastors and ministers to get the word out, even business owners to market their business organization because even Christians need deals on products and services and know what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go back to your child care, the Promised Land Child Care
Sure.
Center in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now I remember that I shared with your victory that you open up your child care, and because of the love of those kids that you have,
Hmm.
you said, Akila, I wrote a song.
Yeah.
I wrote a song. I want to teach it to my kids. You want to hear it?
Uh-huh.
And it's called I'm a Promised Land Kid.
Hmm.
Tell us about that. What made you, what was the inspiration behind that song? Is it because that's another tool of marketing, or you want to put a learning in the children?
I think it was something creative for children to do. Certainly, I'll just have a little song and go home and sing. And I think little children just look cute singing little songs like that. They will say, "Well, why are you Promised Land? Can you tell me about Promised Land?" But yeah, there is some truth there that there was some marketing aspect to it too, because if a child is out singing, "Hey, I'm a Promised Land kid," yes, that's me. In fact, I'm getting a character, and we're gonna do a little video one day. So yeah, there was definitely a marketing where children can sing that song, hopefully out publicly, and someone asks, well, what is that? Is that Promised Land Child Care Center, etc. And but then it does instill some things in children that Promised Land children are learning their ABCs and their one, two, threes. That it's cool to be a Promised Land kid, and so that we're giving them some tools and resources that they can do better in life with.
So, what are you doing at the Promised Land that is in the best interest of the child as far as learning that is so different from what everyone else is doing?
I would hope to think that we're not doing anything any different in any other child care facility because of course we can't take all the children in Rocky Mount, but I would hope that all child care centers are teaching children the fundamentals of life. Teaching children the basic morals and principles of life, teaching children respect. These are things that we for often forget. And when children get into elementary school and in middle school, and then they're dealing with more, when teachers today are dealing with more disciplinary actions than they are dealing with teaching children basic arithmetic and language skills. And so we want to teach children how to work together as well. At our daycare center, we found, our child care facility, we found that there are a lot of children who are the only child. at home. So these parents are coming here with issues and say, "Well, I want to teach my child how to share because everything in the house is there." So
It's
they don't know,
mine.
And so
Yeah.
they say, "Hey, you want to share with mommy this, that, and third." So we're also teaching children that it's not just them in the world, that everything just doesn't belong to them just because they see it. I also learn some basic principles because we're helping that parent to set the foundation for that child's life for the rest of their life.
Okay. Now we talked about Bronson Williams, the entrepreneur. We talked about Bronson Williams, the college student. So now let's talk. No, no, we didn't.
Say it again.
We've talked about Bronson Williams, the young entrepreneur, all of the things that you've done since 14 and a half
Hmm.
to 18, now 27. Now let's talk about your education.
Sure. I'm currently enrolled at school, East Carolina University. When I first enrolled back in
And where is East
2005,
Carolina University?
Greenville, North Carolina.
Greenville, North Carolina.
That's right. So,
Okay.
I started there in 2005. Took a sabbatical from here and there. Of course, my husband graduated by 2009. That's 4 years. But some people may graduate by 2010 because they needed extra, an extra to get some extra stuff out of, so to speak.
So you dropped out of school.
Oh, I was just dropping out. It was
Okay.
just taking a break from school because I
Okay.
think a person who drops out of school just never goes back or never even plan to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But there was plans for me to always go back to school and finish that which I started, but it had to be in the right time and season. And so January 2013 was that right time and season for me to re-enroll in school and to complete that which I started out with. Again, talking about what I started out with, I started out with video production, so I'm doing very much what you were doing today. I remember taking a field video class in which we had to go out and record different things. I had to make a little 3 minute music video actually, and make it sync. The audio had to sync with the video. It had partners, so it just wasn't a solo thing. I had to work with different people in the class, and I was dealing with their schedules and conflicts. This and the third. So time management was important there, and then also getting the tools together. To be sure we were successful in doing what we were doing. But now I went back to school and they don't offer it anymore. So in January 2013,
Oh, wow.
so all these courses I taken for video field production or video production is no longer offered. But now I'm doing media studies. So we're talking about the effects that media has on people. So in watching this type of media, what type of effect will it have on your buying behavior, or what type of effect will it have on your stereotyping behavior, or the different things in fear cues versus any other type of cues, enthusiastic cues. What gets people out to the polls. So we're talking about these type of studies and seeing what type of correlations exist and how media has a great impact and influence on people's lives. They always say media doesn't tell you how to think, but it tells you what to think about.
Okay. Now, one might say that Bronson seems so knowledgeable, so brilliant, so business savvy, having these businesses, and just a few steps away from becoming a self made millionaire. So, why do you need a college degree?
Why do I need a college degree? That's a very good question because I say, will I use it? I definitely think you will because in college you learn other valuable tools in life that prepares you to handle situations. And when I'm having a conversation with someone who's been to college, I need to be able to speak those same terms, speak that same lingo. How in the world can I be out here doing the work, but may not know exactly what they're talking about? Now, can you get that from experience? Well, certainly you can, but it's always good to have a little piece of paper to say you went through some type of rigorous coursework to ensure that you was able to accomplish whatever GPA requirement that was required to get out of that particular program with the degree.
What is in the future for Bronson Williams, and where do you see yourself at age 35?
By age 35, what's that, about 8 years now from here. At age 35, I hope to be in a position where I'm being able to employ people, giving people opportunities to do things, maybe start their own business. A lot of times people have great ideas, but they may not have the creative ways of getting financing to make it happen, or having people that they give them that coach along the way to say, hey, you can do it, you can get there too. So I want to see myself employing people. Want to see myself having different media outlets, whether it be television stations, radio stations. There's a lot of things I want to see happen by age 35, and I'm sure I'll accomplish those things. There'll be small little short-term goals along the way that'll come up that I want to try to accomplish those things too, because you never, there might be a long-term goal, but then there's several short-term goals you got to try to make along the way.
Now, by age 35, would you say that you would have already accomplished that goal of becoming a self made millionaire?
Well, yeah, I definitely hope so. By age 35, in fact, I just don't want to be a millionaire, but a multimillionaire because in today's economy, $1 million really ain't a lot of money anymore.
Okay, all right.
A few years ago, if you had $1 million, oh, you were rich. If you got $1 million now, you just about broke.
Okay. Hmm.
So. Several millions of dollars would be needed. Now, what I do with that money, give back to the community.
Hmm.
Most people who reach a level of success, who are multimillionaires, are givers, and it goes back to biblical principles that if you sow sparingly, you shall also reap sparingly. If you sow bountifully, you shall reap bountifully. So those people who give a lot, they get a lot.
So then you will become a philanthropist?
Um, Yeah, I guess you would say that in a way. You know, people may already say I am one today because of so many things that I'm involved in, and that I'm willing to fail, at particular things. So, yeah, certainly.
What is the key to your success?
What is the key to my success? That's a great question, and I think today's answer is going to be different from tomorrow's answer. But if I was to answer that question today,
Hmm.
I think that all success has to have the basic principle of determination. It has to have the basic principle of zeal. You got to be able to roll up your sleeves and get out there and work, and be willing to sweat. In today's generation, we find people not willing to sweat. That they're not willing to think outside of the box. They're thinking that, hey, this is what it is. But what about us people who says that no, that's not always the answer. It can sometimes be this answer too. So success is being able to be determined, think outside the box, and to go against that challenge. And that's what I think success is in a nutshell.
Okay. In closing, Bronson,
Yes.
now I said in my introduction, I said, in closing, I said in my introduction, what does a college student, an entrepreneur, and a young 27-year-old man have in common? And you asked, and your answer would be, okay. In closing, I said in my introduction, what does a college student, in closing, I said in my introduction, what does a college student, a business entrepreneur, same thing. In closing, look connected, please. In closing, I asked a question in my introduction. What does a college student, an entrepreneur, and a 27-year-old man all have in common? And your answer is
Bronson Williams.
Bronson
No,
Williams.
I'm joking.
Okay.
They all have determination. And
Determination.
those people.
So that goes back to the key to your success, then determination.
Certainly. That's what. In order to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to be determined. To be a successful college student, you got to be determined. And to be just a person in general, you got to be determined to strive. The Bible says you got to press towards the mark of a higher calling who's in Christ Jesus. So that pressing there is all about determination, all about striving to reach a goal. To know where you are today, but realize that you can be somewhere else tomorrow, and increase. It's all about increase.
That's a good note to end on, Bronson. Thank you so much for having me here, spending the whole Saturday with you. As I said in my introduction, you are a person of interest, one to be on the lookout for. I really do believe that you are just steps away from becoming that multimillionaire. Now, I said millionaire in the beginning, but it's multi-millionaire now. And when you hit that mark, I'll be right there to share. Thank you for joining me on location in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. This is Akila Thigpen, and I'll see you the next time.